So I've got the module configuration as built format, and then you've got a regular format. So I saved the as built format. So let me go in here, and we're going to go into the as built format. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. As built format. I'm going to run that module. Okay, yeah, got it. And then in here, I can load. So I don't want to restore anything from factory. I do have a factory as built for this truck, but I don't want to have to use that. So let's see. So right here, I've got the 1027 IPC config. So there it is. So we're good. I know I can find it and load it so that I can write it into the new cluster. So let me go ahead and close this computer down. I don't know how much, it looks like I've got enough battery, but I don't want to run out. So now I'm going to set the laptop over here, unplug the OBD link EX, which will write any and everything it's capable of with oh goodness, this is tight for a fat man, which is capable of writing anything that Forescan is capable of writing. So go ahead and pull the key out, grab some of these panel tools, and so hopefully I can pull this stuff loose easily. Of course, dropping it all over the place. So really and truly, you don't need panel tools. You can just pull this stuff back. It's pretty simple. We'll drop this panel down. You want to get it out of the way. And you've got, should be, I think it's a 7mm. Let's see. Yep, you got a 7mm on this side. And 7mm over here. Set that up there out of the way. And now let's lower and pull the steering wheel back. I'm going to lock it in the lowest position, pulled back, so hopefully I don't have to rearrange a bunch of stuff. So you got this. Now you can pull it loose. This is your I don't know what you call it, but the trim for the you know what? I don't got to pull that out because I can get to the screws, I believe. So I'm going to get the screwdriver that came with the installation kit for the kind of tight. Get it off the magnet there. So there should be 4 screws on this instrument cluster. One in basically, I guess you could say, corner. There's one. I'll go ahead and put them up here. And they're tight. Way tighter than they should be. I'll be honest with you. Be much easier with a ratchet. So that's what we're going to do. So now, you got that one out. Now the two on the bottom. They're black, so they're not easy to see. Now, not sure where they would go if you dropped them. So don't drop them. You know, it's so convenient having a belt clip on a drill that I never used a belt clip on. There we go. Okay, and so let's see if we can get that one out without removing. Oh, I think we're going to have to remove that trim. I was just hoping we could possibly avoid it. It's no big deal. You can see that it just kind of snaps. It's got some little snaps that go into place. So it's not really that big a deal. And it'll be a whole lot easier for you dealing with the instrument cluster with that out. So you've got one wire. And then the instrument cluster, just kind of rotate it around the steering wheel and it'll come right out. So let's set this one to the side. And this connector is just a crushing connector. It's not a flip connector. You just push that little lever in on the top, pull straight back, and it's out. So let's grab the new one. Maybe. I'm in here getting all up in y'all's way. We're just going to keep it a secret as to where this came from. Can't be giving all my secrets away, but my supplier is always ready, willing, and able to supply people with everything that they could ask for. But I don't want to just keep putting them out there because it's our secret. So you can see they gave me a plug that I don't need, but I got a backup plug. I may plug that into my old one when I sell it, which I'm probably going to sell it. But this is the 8-inch display, which everything on the front is needs to be cleaned big time. But it's all digital except for the speedometer and the tachometer. That is still analog, which is fine. Okay, so now we're going to get the screws back in, hopefully. And then before we button it all up, we'll start it. And so this is just a quick little thing. I mean, I just got home from work. And so decided, hey, this is probably going to be a pretty simple deal. So let's see if we can just change it out and be done with it. And so obviously you can tell that I really did not plan for much of this. Considering how, let's see, where the hole was right there. Considering how much trouble I'm having. So here we go. That was tightened all the way. Now this would be a lot harder and tighter if you don't have tilt steering or telescoping steering, which this truck does have. But it was weird that it had only the 4-inch sync module in it, so it makes me think it was a work truck. See, I got a blind side system fault, cross traffic, engine on, blind spot system fault because I don't have blind spot on here, blind spot system fault I don't have, and so here it is. Let's see. Engine performance, fuel economy, configure my view. Now, some of the things that this would not have is going to be, see, like, yeah, average 14.4 miles per gallon. That's not my truck. That's the truck this was in, because mine is like 20 or 21 just around town and 24 to almost 25 driving. So I do need to upgrade, and it's showing 127,876 on the mileage. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shut the engine off. All sensors. All right, so we got that turned on. Let me find the get the OBD2 plugged in. Just stick that up there for now. Get past all of those. Get the laptop started. Log into the laptop. Okay, so we get an OBD2. Now, let's do some scan or get it connected. Yes, this is still the truck. Getting in here. As soon as it loads up, I'm going to go to configuration and programming. And then I'm going to module configuration as built format. And I'm going to run that module, IPC. Select yes, and then I'm going to load configuration, select the one I saved. All right, so it said operation completed successfully. I accidentally tapped save. You don't want to save. Write all. All right, so that it is resetting because I just reset it. Block programming successful. So now I'm going to close foreskin. Click past that. All right, now I want to load foreskin again. And I'm going to connect back to my module. my ODB USB programmer. I'm going into programming. Now I'm going to go to odometer right, and I'm going to run that one. Odometer right. The function is only necessary on newly installed instrument clusters. The following configuration will allow the original odometer reading to be written to a new instrument cluster. It is not possible to overwrite a value lower than the one already recorded. Mistakes can only be corrected by installing a new instrument cluster. I'm selecting OK. I want it in miles. And the new mileage is, you double check, 133,096. 133,096. Now this is where you got to be careful, because if you write something really high by accident, put one digit too much, then you got a million miles on your vehicle and you can't change it. You can't go to a lower one. And now I think there's supposed to be a way that you could potentially do it, but I think it's very involved. It could be kind of hard. So 133,096, and I'm not going to put the point in there. Click OK. Odometer right. Yes, it is currently writing. Now, if you've seen it, it flashed up, and I think it may have. Looks like it's 133,092.5. So it may show just a little bit lower than what it actually is. And it could be by 5 miles difference. So you may want to add 5 miles to your odometer. So let me close this module out. Close foreskin. We'll go ahead and shut my computer down. Go ahead and pull my ODB reader and get all this stuff out of my way. Now I'm going to turn it off. Well, I can't close the door because it's over there. But anyway, so wait for the Mustang to disappear there. There it goes. All right. 133,092.5. So it wrote the mileage 5 miles below what I actually had on there. It is showing an airbag light, seat bag light, because I don't have my seat belts on, but it's showing an airbag light. An airbag light is because the front panel on this right here. So the instrument cluster's in there. It's good to go. And we'll kind of, I think we'll later on when I got more time, because it's in the afternoons. It's 4:30 now. And so I think this probably took about an hour to do. Very simple. No big deal at all. I usually keep the digital speedometer on there. So I'm going to leave that loaded up in the middle. So I think I'm really going to like this cluster. So let's go ahead and put it back together. Let me pop this down. So the first thing let's go ahead and kill it. So now we're going to need to snap this back into place. Now these snaps here, right here, go on the top cowling, cushion, whatever you call it, around the steering wheel. So I already put my screws back in for the cluster. So we got to find the first hole. I'll find the first hole, and the rest of them should pop in pretty simple. Yeah, they're kind of finding themselves. Well, I say that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so they all just kind of found the right place to go into. Tap that back in. Snap that back in. And now I'm ready to put these two screws in. And then the bottom panel, you get it up there, roughly about where it's supposed to go. And go to snapping it all back into place. And you are good to go. Now, I believe there are, let me readjust this for a fat boy like me. Bring it down just a little bit. And let's go ahead and crank her back up. Yeah, I believe I'm definitely gonna like this. So in this view, it's got a little block over there showing me which view I'm on. And I know you can have it show miles to empty up there on the fuel gauge, but I got to figure out how to program that stuff. And I know you can put boost on the transmission temperature or in place of one of the screens, but I'm fixing to look at that. Oil life percentage, 79%, which that's not exactly right. I don't think it could be. I don't remember. I didn't look at all that. I just saved the information. So there we go. Let's just trip. See, the trip information still shows to be the older trip information. So I'm going to reset that. I may have to try to load that and save it again because it's not auto start stop. So it says it deactivated by driver, but as long as it's not plugged in, it's gonna think it's deactivated, in all honesty. So truck info, tire pressure, that's about right. Admin keys 2. So at some point we're gonna program a key because I need to get that stuff done. Towing, let's just say, that's kind of neat, giving you some degrees, so kind of show you what degrees you're on while you're towing. Trailer disconnected, which is accurate. There's no trailer back here, and I don't want to set up a trailer. Off-road, again, it gives you percentage in degrees. That's kind of cool. DTE calculation, distance to empty, normal. So you can apparently set it to normal or towing, which will give you a more accurate because it's paying attention to the extra load and the drag on the vehicle. So advanced settings, vehicle, we got auto engine off. I'm turning that off. Wow, that's so nice to have that now. Because the other instrument cluster didn't have a way to turn the auto engine off. I'd rather have all that stuff plugged in and it be on. So lights, daylight lights. So apparently auto lamp delay, I'm not going to change any of that, but apparently you can turn your daylights off. That's kind of cool. Locks, auto locks, auto lock, remote unlock, driver's door. I'm gonna leave it on that because I don't usually, you hit your unlock button twice and it unlocks everything anyway. So wipers, courtesy wipe, that's fine. So you got a few more settings that you can change in here versus what you had with the other instrument cluster. But I think it's really nice. I do definitely like these changes, but I'm going to look into figuring out how to do some stuff with the boost to add gauges, take away gauges, and some programming like that. Surely there's going to be some out there, because I've seen a video where a guy changed to this same display, and it give him that information too. And so I want to be able to do that. Plus, kind of show you guys. So if you want to destroy your instrument cluster and buy a new one, you can. And so I want to make sure you guys can do that if you want. Uh, no, really. Yeah, I'll warn you about any potential dangers to anything before I show you how to do something like that. So anyway, that's the instrument cluster change out. 45 minutes to an hour. Um, if you find a vehicle that very, very closely, if not completely, matches your vehicle and plug that instrument cluster in, it's going to work just fine. It's not going to disable your vehicle, or at least not in my case that I saw. Um, so really, the only thing that you definitely want to get changed out is your mileage, which is a very simple thing to do. And my mileage actually, once it programmed it, it actually programmed it like 5 miles below actual. And that may be a safety feature. I don't know. If you add 5 miles to it, you might end up 5 miles over what your intended target was. But 5 miles under is fine by me. Your engine hours, oil life, and all that kind of stuff, which mine should be at about 90 something percent, but it's showing 74. So that information didn't write in here exactly the way it should have. But I'll look into that more tomorrow. Hopefully the front panel for the radio will be in, and I can finish buttoning that up, finish that video. Okay, so here we go. We've got foreskin loaded. We've got the ignition on the truck. You can see the gauges and everything are up. So we're going to hit connect to the vehicle. Yes, we already have that profile saved, so it comes up. Now let's go down. Well, let's let it finish. All right, go to configuration and programming. And what we're going to look at is the IPC module. So you have the odometer right, which we did that to bring the mileage on this one, which was 127,000 up to the 133,000, which is what's on my truck. And of course, it was 5 miles less than what I actually entered in. Just keep that in advisement. It will be a little bit different once it boots back up. Module configuration here would be, let's see, the as-built configuration would be the hex codes, the raw data. But what we're going to go into is module configuration. So hit the play button and start that. So here we have the instrument cluster, acceleration timer. Let's see, active front steering, adaptive cruise control we don't have, adaptive cruise menu don't have. I don't know what this adjustable speed limiter is. I'm not going to mess with it right now. Advanced tracked hard button control, we do have that. Air to fuel ratio gauge, auto engine off option. Okay. We have that shows up, but when we try to disable it, it doesn't stay disabled. So I'm hoping there's something in here that will allow that, but it is showing up in the screen. See, high beam option, auto hold, auto lock. Auto start stop. Here we go. So I'm going to set this to disabled. Click the check button. I'm not ready to write this, so I'm making my edits. This has already been saved, by the way. You would definitely want to come down here and save before making changes. Let's see. Auto unlock, auto lamp delay. Let's see. Average speed, RPM. Axle oil temperature display. There's no way I got that. Background is enabled. Backup warning chime. That would kind of be cool, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Battery voltage display. I'm not sure where this would display, but let's just turn it on just because and see what we end up seeing. Blind spot monitoring system, boost vacuum display. I want that on. Let's see. I believe these that end with display are something I can change one of these upper displays into. So I want those options enabled, and we'll just see what we come up with. Driver belt minder is disabled. Wow. So somebody has made some options on here. I think they use the little push button. You can push the release button in a different code or series and disable it, because mine, I don't have to put my driver's seat belt on, which I do, but I wouldn't have to, and it doesn't chime. Key and ignition, mid passenger belt reminder. Passenger belt reminder is disabled. Primary source, audio speakers only. Traffic sign recognition, overspeed. I'm not going to make a ton of changes. Let's leave that alone for now. Climate screen repeater, cold start reservoir, control dampening, country code US, courtesy wipe after wash. I'm not worried about that. That's fine. I kind of like that feature. Cross traffic alert, cruise control switch. Why is cruise control switch disabled? Let's turn that on. Cylinder head temperature display. And I'm going to just see if I end up with a bunch of displays, because I can come back through and make this back to default. DTE empty value level configuration distance based algorithm. DTE rate of change descending. Julian calendar, I guess is what it's saying it's using there. Let's see. Daytime running lamps. That's kind of cool. You can turn those off. It's not a diesel. Digital engine oil gauge. Well, hold on. Let me turn that back off, because I believe that changes those from graphics to digital, just a number. And I kind of like the gauges. Display unit selection function, door content, door rear cargo doors. E-pass button. And I do have an electric park brake. Entertainment screen repeater. I think this is the option that will kind of bring stuff from the radio screen, the sync screen, over to this screen. Flex fuel vehicle. set to a 23-gallon tank, which I need to change that because I believe mine's a 26, but I'll have to double check that. Gallon display type, US gallons, gauge selection configuration, gear shift indicator, global clock settings. I don't have heated seats. Hood switch. I'm definitely looking for distance to empty. Let's just kind of roll down through these kind of quick just to see. Menu, adaptive steering, chime, forward collision intelligence, 911 text. Navigation screen repeater, which I do want the navigation to show up on the 8-inch display. Next change. Not in park. Number of fuel cylinders, odometer, delta, off-road screen, oil pressure display enabled, oil temperature display enabled, and then I don't want to do the phone screen. Let's see. The remote start stuff I don't have. Silent mode, snowplow, North America, splash screens enabled, steering gear ratio. Okay, so I know there's a boost gauge. There it is. There's the boost gauge. I want that enabled. Trip computer indicator reset. And where are we at? Vacuum gauge. Okay, so we are going to write all right. Please cycle the ignition off, then back on. So let's do that. Let's open it more so it resets. Everything's going down. I got the Mustang showing up on the screen over there. We got to fix that. That'll be the next video. All right. Now let's turn the ignition back on. So I didn't get So far, that's my screens that I'm getting. Let's see. Go to the truck, gauge selection. Haha, so the gauges, I have an option to use gauges now. So turbo, boost, tire pressure, speedometer, percent of oil life. So here's those gauges that I turned on. So I want, let's see, transmission temp. I want it to be boost. Now, if I'm towing something or pulling something, then I'll change it back to transmission. But I would like to have the turbo and the boost. So, towing status, not messing with any of that. Off-road. Distance. In gallons. Just kind of going through some of these. And I don't think any of this has changed. So let's go back over through here. So the gauge selection. So you can see turbo is listed above that gauge over there. Now, I'm wondering, let's look at let's go back to the top of our configuration here. And I want to turn on all displays. So just because, okay, accelerometer display. We're going to enable that. Now we're going to write. Yes. All right, so we're writing it in there. It's been written successfully. So now what I'm looking, so it's back to my transmission, but that's fine. Now I want to go back because what I wanted to look at is to see if I added a gauge. Turbo. No. So it's not really another gauge on there. So I'm not entirely sure. So accelerometer display really didn't do it for me. But pay attention to the warnings if you've gotten any warnings in here. Because you definitely don't want to mess anything up. Let's see. So here we go. Distance to empty calculation option in productivity screen enabled. Distance to empty value 0. Distance to empty level calculation. Based on algorithm, distance to empty value is normal. So I don't get it. It doesn't. It says distance to empty calculation option in productivity screen. So I don't really, it says enabled. Because I know it should show up over the fuel gauge, whatever the distance to empty is. And you guys might see this. You may see it where I'm missing it. I don't know what that is. Fuel consumed per hour display. So I'm not really looking to do anything there. Gauge selection configuration. We're going to enable that. Gear shift indicator is, I thought, on, but we're going to. So I'm not seeing anything that obviously says show your distance to empty. Instant fuel economy display is bar. Let's see, what are the options? Numeric. Let's see what that gives us. There, it showed up. All right. So this is how that. Oh, awesome. That's how you do it. So over the gauge, here it is. Instant fuel. Let's see. Instant fuel economy display. All right. I changed that to say numeric. So you have the bar graph showing how much fuel till empty, but you change it from to numeric, and it adds the numeric on the top of it. So let's go. Because I would like to have the digital or the numeric on the top of each one. So where's the boost? I seen the boost. Boost gauge enabled. And I know it did say on top boost, but that kind of disappeared. Boost vacuum display. And it's either enabled or disabled. So let's. So let me filter with everything that just says display. That's going to make it so much easier. All right, so now that we've filtered out everything that doesn't say display, advanced heads-up display menu. I don't have a heads-up display on this truck. I would really like to, but I don't. Axle oil temperature, battery voltage enabled, boost vacuum display enabled. And that's just enabled or whatever. Cylinder head temperature display enabled. Display unit selection function. Imperial. All right, so you can do metric or imperial. Fuel consumed per hour display. Gallon display type. Clock. Global clock display format 12 hours. Inlet air temperature display. Well, let's just enable it. We're playing around because I've got the original. We're going to turn the accelerometer back on, and we'll just see what sticks. Oil temperature display enabled. And let's just turn all these displays on. I'll do it so you don't have to. The rear differential, I'm not going to mess with that. Tire pressure monitoring system. Vacuum gauge display. And that's pretty much everything is on. Let's write it. Are you sure? Yes, I am. And that was a successful write. Cyclone. Let's start it. Okay, so gauge selection. And you got the turbo boost, tire pressure. Let's just see what they look like. That's in there. Wait, that needs to go back to miles per hour. Percent oil life. And we're going to be programming a key as well. So we're going back to gauge view and we're turning back to transmission to turbo. So for whatever reason, the turbo kind of disappeared off of there, but it's back again. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore because I don't want that to just keep disappearing. Be careful messing with your tow haul stuff because you'll change your settings. You can change your distance to empty to calculate versus towing something because your rate of fuel consumption is going to be higher and it needs to change. So let's go back. DTE calculations, advanced settings, off-roading. That's kind of cool. It gives you degrees. Right here gives you like whether you're on a hill or whatever. The middle gauge shows what degree your tires are turned, and the far right gauge will show you how your truck is canted from side to side, from left to right. And then we'll go to towing. You can set up your trailer, your connection checklist. You can do all of that, but that's if you're going to be doing towing. And until I do some towing, again, I'm not going to mess with that because I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to play with it just yet. Fuel economy, fuel history, navigation compass. What options? Fixed north, rotating north. I prefer the rotating north. So you can have a fixed north so that the compass north points up. Down is always south. And then the little blue arrow you see will rotate around those degrees as you are turning. But I'm not really used to that. I'm used to having to show me what direction north actually is relative to my current position, and then I will turn the truck, causing the blue arrow to get to that location. That probably sounds a little convoluted. I apologize, but that this configuration makes more sense to me. And then my basic configuration is tire pressure, digital speedometer, trip one, fuel economy, navigation compass, and off-road. And then that's kind of the full gambit of what I can have on here. Now, hopefully, I won't know until I actually test drive the truck that the auto start stop is disabled now. So I don't know. I apologize. I'm kind of moving the camera all around. So just kind of messing around with some stuff. Let's see here. Okay, so you don't see any numbers over here. I don't like that because I wanted my my shift indicator was over there, and I like having it over there. It shows me the gears that I'm shifting into. So let me find where that was at here. Unit selection, temperature. Let's do this. Shift. Let's see, select shift. Let's see. I don't remember. Okay, so they're back over there. I go into manual. It shows my manual. So, all right, so I've got my shift indicators back over there. So I've gotten everything that I wanted to have on the screen. Um, I hope, and if you want me to go into some more stuff and experiment on some more stuff to kind of look at it and see, but my distance to empty was the main thing that I wanted to get on the screen. And I will experiment, test driving around tomorrow probably, using the map system to show me some stuff, like searching, giving me directions somewhere to see if the directions actually show up on the screen over here. Because I did change those settings to do that. But I'll do some more research on this and maybe see about doing another video on this to see what everything does. So let me go ahead and close this module down. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.